Three baselines are created. First, using requirement management plan, we collect all the requirements. We use tools like expert judgment, focus group, facilitated workshop, document analysis, prototype, context diagram, all the tools. The purpose of tools is to collect the data, collect the requirement as much as we can. Once the requirement has collected, we put all the requirement into requirement traceability matrix. Requirement traceability matrix is the database of all your requirements. Now you have collected the requirement. Now you can also use requirement documentation to classify the requirement as functional, non-functional, whatever the types of the requirement is, maybe transactional, depends on the requirement. So now once you have collected requirement, the product requirements are there. Using scope management plan, we are going to filter product and project requirements. So scope management plan will act as a filter, and from the requirement traceability matrix, like using Moscow, product dividing, any of the tools that you can use, you will get project scope statement. Once you have a project scope statement, now this is everything that will be in the project. Anything that is not the project part of project scope statement, that is not the part of the project, right? In the next step, this is the most important thing, and according to Neelam Bharti, when I interviewed him, this is one tool that every project manager should know. There's another tool that I will tell later on. The first one is work breakdown structure. Using project scope statement, you divide the work into small manageable part, WBS. So the highest become control account, then planning package, then the smallest part of the work breakdown structure is WBS work package. So you also make work breakdowns structure dictionary that gives you detail of each work package. What does this work package mean? So project scope statement, WBS dictionary. This goes to sponsor, or you can say governance board. They approved it. Now you get your baseline, that is scope baseline. The next step would be to make the schedule baseline. We will use schedule management plan guidelines, and we will take the work package, we'll divide it, we'll get activity list, activity attributes, milestone list. Now, using activity list, the activity list, activity milestones, activity list, activity attributes, and milestone list, we get divided in the work package. Now, activity attributes will tell you what type of dependencies are in the activities. Like, is it a mandatory dependency, hard logic, or is it discretionary dependency, soft logic? Is it internal or external? It will also tell you what type of relationship do they have: finish to start, start to start, start to finish, or finish to start. All the four type of relationship will be among the activities. Then what is the duration of each activity? Using analogous, like if I have done something in the past, is it the same thing? Parametric, okay, the past relationship is there, but is a statistical relationship. Like if I go to my office daily, and it is 5 kilometers, it takes me 15 minutes. So if again I go, it will take me 15 minutes because it is based on past history. But if I want to go 10 kilometers, how much time it will be? 30 minutes. This is statistical relationship, parametric estimation. Then if we have detail, we will use bottom up estimation. From bottom to up we will move. Or we can use 3-point estimation that includes optimistic, pessimistic, most likely, average, triangular distribution, or optimistic for most likely, pessimistic divided by 6, that is part program evaluation review technique, beta distribution. Important tip: if in the exam it is not mentioned which type of estimation to use, always use beta, that is optimistic for most likely, or plus pessimistic divided by 6. So once we have all this duration, using critical path method, we will do sequence, identify each activity sequence, and now we get schedule baselines. Now, once you have schedule baseline, if you want to reduce the schedule, we use two schedule compression techniques: crashing, adding more resources. When you add more resources, as a result of that, when you add more resources, you may have to put more cost, but the baseline will be reduced. Or fast tracking, making activities parallel. So fast tracking can increase risk. Pro tip: if the money is not the problem, because crashing costs more money, always use crashing. Between crashing and fast tracking, always use crashing. And if you want to optimize the resource, we use resource leveling. We change the entire schedule on the availability of the resources. Resource leveling, it increases your baseline. But if you do not want to increase the schedule, but you want to optimize, play in between with the float. Float is how much the amount can be delayed without delaying the critical path. So we will use resource smoothing. So now we have scope baseline, schedule baseline. Next we go to cost baseline. We'll use cost management plan. that will guide you which type of currency you are going to use, how to basically we are going to work with that, what is the funding limit, like what are the milestones when we need to reconcile, how we are going to do financing. That is the goal of cost management plan. Once you have that, now, using the same techniques, analogous, parametric, 3-point estimation, and bottom-up estimation, we will calculate the cost of each activity. Once we have the cost of each activity, we will also calculate contingency reserve. Contingency reserves are the reserves for identified risk. The risk that you have identified, we will calculate that plus once contingency reserves plus the cost of activity. Once you add all of them, it becomes your cost baseline. One more time, cost baseline is cost of all activities plus contingency reserves. Then you have project budget, which is cost of activities plus contingency reserve, which was basically your baseline plus management reserve. Unidentified risk. You don't know what you don't know. The risk of that. So this entire thing is project budget. One more time. Project budget consists of cost baseline plus management reserve. And cost baseline was contingency reserve plus cost of all activities. Now cost baseline is there. If at any time you want to check how you are doing schedule or cost wise, we use schedule variance, which is earned value minus planned value, or cost variance, which is earned value minus actual cost. Your schedule variance should be positive or minimum zero, and so go over cost variance. We can also use schedule performance index and cost performance index. These should be greater than 1. Like schedule performance index is earned value divided by planned value should be greater than 1. If equal to 1, you are on schedule, less than 1, you are behind schedule, greater than 1, you are ahead of schedule. Same goes for cost performance index. It should be there. In the exam, if you have to calculate new budget, like your current budget is budget at completion BAC, you use EAC, that is BAC divided by CPI. That's your entire scope, schedule, cost baseline. If you master it, you master PMP. I hope I covered it. I hope I was not very fast. If you enjoyed it, share it with at least one person who needs it. Scope, schedule, cost baseline. All three baselines are approved. They are the part of project management plan, like requirement management plan, scope management plan, schedule management plan, plan, scope, schedule, cost baseline. These three are combined as called as performance management plan. All are part of project management plan and they must be approved. And if you want to change it, you need a change request. It's a very important thing. Like scope creep, if a customer tries to add something without raising a change request, we don't like scope creep. The name is creep. Gold plating, if you give customer more, not allowed at all. Both concepts are important. I guess if you know this much, any question that comes in PMP exam will be good for you. See you there.